We often hear about how African immigrants leave their home country and 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years later, they still have not gone back home, even just to visit.
Have you noticed that once some Nigerians japa, they just vanish? Not because they don't want to come back to Niger, but because returning is a luxury.
This actually happened to me also. For 10 whole years, I did not go back to Nigeria. So, in today's video, let's reason together and look at some of the reasons why this happens and what we can do about it. Make sure to watch till the end to know why I stayed away for 10 years and also for the number one way to ensure that you can travel back home when you live abroad. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, my name is Kola. I have lived in Canada for over 25 years. Welcome back to this side of life. And if you're new here, welcome to the Wise Tribe and thank you all for joining me today. So diving right in, the first reason why many immigrants, especially Africans, get stuck abroad and don't go back home for so many years is because they are there illegally. These days, it seems that you have to define what being illegal means. Illegal means you don't have the documentation to be in the country, or maybe you had a visa and your visa expired and you are overstaying your visa, and so you do not have legal status in the country where you live.
Without documents, without paper, you cannot do anything. And anytime you remember that if you go home, that you don't have paper to come back, meanwhile, without paper, you cannot work. Except you'll be doing all black job, which you know that is very risky, that any day there is control on your side. They control you and find out that you are cheating on government, you are not paying your tax, you are maybe using another person's document to work. You may find yourself in your country.
I really don't understand why people do that and why people can be comfortable with going to another country without the legal papers, without the right documentation. I mean, for example, if you are in Canada without a legal status, you will not be able to work because most employers will request your social insurance number to be able to hire you. If anybody hires you without that, they will probably be underpaying you and just using you because they can pay you anything and you don't have a voice because you are not legal. So it is not fun to go to a country without being documented. This is not the way to live, really. But you find that there are so many people who have come from Africa and are in all these Western countries and are there without any documentation. I mean, even if you start out without documentation, why would you be there for 20 years, 30 years and still not have documentation? Then you cannot go back to your home country because if you go, then you will not be able to come back in. If you try to travel, the authorities will find out and then they will deport you. So many people, because of that, stay in their new countries as illegal immigrants and so they cannot go back home. Just like our daddy that was speaking in the earlier clip we watched, talking about how not having your documentation is a problem and will prevent you from going back home. The second reason that I see is that people do not have the financial capacity to take the trip home because in most cases, the cost of traveling back home is really high, right?
So this Nigerian doctor, where they live for Australia, Dr. Uchechukwu, talk say, coming back to Niger from Australia, he say no be beans. Say flight ticket alone, na $8,000. If you add wife and pikin, boom, $20,000 don't go. Before you land for Niger, you go don't spend enough money where reach to open, one correct business.
Yeah, it can be expensive going back home. You do have to have that means to be able to buy the ticket. And also we know how we are. When you go back home, everybody's expecting you to bring something for them. They are all waiting for you to come back to bring all the dollars and pounds and the foreign currency to come and spend in Nigeria, for example. And people cannot really afford that because they are not doing very well where they are. And not doing very well could also be because they have been spending all their money, sending all their money to relatives back home, putting people through school, helping people start businesses, bankrolling a lot of people back in the home country, or they are sending money home to build mansions at home in Nigeria. And so people are drowning in debt. People don't really have any disposable income to be able to travel. In fact, some people in the home country will tell people that, oh, instead of coming home, just send the money. Yeah, so some people have been doing that. They have been sending the money that they would have used to travel home to people at home or to fund projects that they have at home. A third reason is that some people are fearful. For example, in Nigeria, everybody will talk about the security situation, or some people are still suffering from the trauma that took them out of the country in the first place. I know people who, the reason why they left Nigeria is because they got attacked by armed robbers and almost died. They were shot or they were injured in some incident with armed robbers or police or something like that. So some people have those kind of trauma or even family trauma, and so they are fearful to go back home. And some people have even said, oh, I would never go back. I did go to Nigeria this year, and I didn't find the security situation to be as bad as people portray it. That might be an unfounded fear for some people. For other people, it is real, and it is a valid reason for them not to want to go back to their home country. Another reason is that some people don't have strong enough ties to the home country. I mean, in this day and age, we have families where most of them are no longer in Nigeria. Everybody is outside the country. And so they would rather meet each other in another country than all go back to Nigeria, for example. So some people don't really have any reason to go back. The parents are not there, the siblings are not there, and so there's really no ties back to the home country that would draw them to go. And then the final reason I will mention here today in this video is that life happens. You get to the new country, you start to have children, maybe you go to school, or you are focused on your career, or COVID happens, which was what happened in my case. We had gone back to Nigeria, I think it was 2013. We would normally go every few years, but we went in 2013, and then I went to do my master's. And I think things just happened, and by the time we wanted to go to Nigeria, COVID hit, and then we couldn't go. And so we had to wait out COVID, and then after COVID was then when we decided to go. So we went in, I think it was 2023, which made it 10 years after our last visit. But after that 2023, you best believe that we went again 2 years later, that is this year, because it is a good thing to go back home and to experience the life back home again from time to time, even though you live abroad. I am sure that there are many more reasons why people, or maybe you watching me, haven't gone back to your home country for many years. If that's the case, please share what your reason is or what those reasons might be with us in the comment section below. So having said all that, we all agree that it is a good thing to keep the connection with your roots, with your home country, by going back from time to time, even if you do not want to move back permanently. I think everybody agrees on that. I want to get into some of the things that we can do to ensure that we are able to go back home, if only to visit and reconnect with our home country and with our roots. It is good for the mental health, it is good for our well-being. It is a good thing not to lose our connection to where we came from. The first thing that I would say about that, and the number one way to ensure that you are able to go back from time to time to the home country, is to make sure that you are legit, that you do not go illegally to any country. Make sure that you have your legal status and you can always go in and out whenever you want to. Do not overstay your visa. Do not run foul of the law. And just make sure that you are legal in the country where you live in, so that you have the freedom to go and come as you wish. And to do this, you need to do your proper research. before you move abroad in the first place. And there are many videos that I've done on this channel that talk about doing your research, making sure you have a plan for your journey to a new country so that you can succeed and thrive in your new country. Also, as a legal immigrant, when you get to your new country, you need to be wise to take advantage of all the opportunities that are available for you in your new country. Manage your finances, live within your means, and if possible below your means, so that you are able to save money and build wealth that will enable you to be able to go back home if and when you want to. Also, have a plan B and a plan C. Like, for example, some people will come abroad and they have the mindset of, I've been in this kind of industry in my home country, and then you come to the new country, maybe you go to school and then you graduate, and unfortunately you cannot find a job similar to what you were doing back home, and you have to pivot, like you have to make a change. You have to go to a plan B and sometimes a plan C, right? You need to be flexible and you need to be adaptable and you need to be able to do whatever it takes. You know, for us Africans, for Nigerians, there are certain professions that people feel like, oh, that is what you have to do. You have to be an engineer, you have to be an accountant. But times are changing. You know, the world is changing. There are careers now that we never used to think about in the past that are now places where people are thriving, people are succeeding, people are making a good living for themselves. I mean, I can speak for Canada. Back home, people will not even think about the trades like being a carpenter or a plumber or anything like that. But here, those are the kind of professions where people do very well. Just switch your mind from that traditional mindset of you have to do this kind of job. It doesn't have to be an office job or white collar jobs like we are used to. So yeah, be open, be flexible, and be ready to get out of your comfort zone to do what will work for you. And what works for one person does not necessarily work for another person. People will come to a place and, they'll be like, it is now nothing that everybody's doing. And you just immediately go and do nothing, even though you may not even have the acumen or the interest in it. Avoid that temptation to copy and to just do something because other people are doing it. Do your own research. Find out what is going to work for you and be a trailblazer yourself. The final thing, and I would think the most important thing that we can do to help us to be able to make the trips back home is to plan our money and budget. Like they say, a budget is telling your money where it should go rather than you wondering where it went. If you want to be able to travel back home, one of the best things you can do is to have a budget and a travel back home fund, right? Where you set aside money for traveling back home. Accumulate that money until you have enough to be able to go. Whenever the money gets up to a particular amount, then you can plan your travel. This way, you are not relying on credit card, you are not overextending yourself. Going back home should not be rocket science. We should do what it takes to make it happen. Learn to budget, learn to put money aside and save money for that specific purpose. Let me know what you think about this issue of not going back to the home country and why and what we can do. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me again. What has been your own experience if you live abroad, or maybe you know somebody who lives abroad, about people coming back to the home country or not coming back to the home country? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know whenever I upload new videos. Also, stay tuned to this channel for much more interesting content coming your way. Until I come your way again, until the next video, you go out and make it the best days of your life. Bye!